Straight up, 1 o'clock Central Time. Welcome everybody across the country coming into the Mosley Show, the day after show, the Super Bowl. It has ended, and oh, was it awful. And you've been wanting to do this, Kevin Hall, our this is a Scooby-Doo, some kind of Scooby-Doo deal. All right, Kevin. There you go. There it is, because that's how we begin today's show. And oh my goodness, what a stinker of a game that was. As we gathered around our respective TVs around the country, I gathered with some friends and used to always get together with them for a Super Bowl party. And it had gone away for a couple of years, and then it came back, and we actually met at a restaurant / bar. And I was kind of like, oh man, I like to be at home. I don't want to be at a bar. I don't think I've ever done that on a Super Bowl. And yet it was fine. And the sound turned up. It was $1 per wing or 99 cents per wing. And I don't know if that's a good deal or not. It seemed like a good deal. It said, it was Buffalo, got 18 of those things. And I split them with some buddies. And it was nice. It was a nice spread. But we all gathered around, ready to watch, ready to take in Bad Bunny. I swear, Kevin, a lot of people around the country are just waiting for whoever it is so they can just be like, this is horrible. This is awful. This is crazy. This year it took on a whole new thing because obviously the whole halftime show, Bad Bunny, who's from Puerto Rico, which again, it's an American territory. I mean, he's an American citizen. I don't know why that was such an offensive thing to some, but whatever. I'm not going to get into all that, but the whole halftime show was in Spanish, which for someone like me who dabbles in Spanish, I was kind of okay with because I kind of halfway understood what was going on. The truth is, you just needed to take it in visually. And the dancing, Lady Gaga showed up. I believe that song was in English. I don't know. I think we're all like desperate to be a fit. And there are some things, and one of them just happened the other day, that are highly, highly offensive. But someone singing in Spanish is not offensive. It should not. This should not be something we're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go over here and see what Kid Rock's doing. And again, that's fine too. If you're Kid Rock and you want to go over to something else, that's why we live in a free country, and we have alternatives, and you can see that. But again, wow, some of the feedback. I mean, I get it. If your feedback is, I don't know who this is, I don't know these songs, I don't know Spanish, then that's whatever. That's fine. But I found it to be pretty entertaining, quite honestly. And I like kind of the visuals. I like some of the interesting people who showed up, some of the celebrities. And then here comes Lady Gaga. There's Ricky. I mean, Kev, he's older than us. Ricky Martin, I mean, he's several years older than you. He's at least 2 or 3 years older than I am. And he's up there doing his thing. Ricky. Have not seen Ricky in a while.
Ole.
Good. Yeah, Ricky looked thin like he always did. And did a pretty nice job up there. Oh, no. But I think he sang Spanish. I think his songs were in Spanish. Oh, goodness. No, I was fine with all that. And Kevin has been in a rock band in the past, and as if you can't tell by looking at him. And the man, I think he's pretty musically inclined, can sing a little bit, can play the guitar. It's interesting. We always have musicians as my producer because Scotty was fairly competent on guitar and had maybe sat in with a band before. Kevin has been in a band. Again, this was a different style of music. If you wanted he's not Prince. It's not The Who. It's not U2. It's not Rolling Stones. By the way, they're not from our country either. But I hate to break it to you. By the way, this guy is from our country. I don't know why people are getting so caught up in he's not. They can't vote in Puerto Rico. Who cares? Who cares? Kev, before we start breaking down the game, did you delve into the Bad Bunny halftime? Were you like me? I found the showmanship. I found the coat. I like the way he kind of. I like the look, and I thought some of the dancing was really good. Like I was not. I guess I was not really that thrown off like that because it was not in English. I feel like it's a little bit of a sort of a thing that we do in America. We like go to other countries and we're like, how can you not know English? Well, wait, where are we? We're in Italy. Like, why should they have to know English? Why do we expect this from everybody? But I thought it was entertaining. All right, was my thought. Any thoughts as a musician, a man who's performed in front of others? What did you think?
Well, after I was a musician, now I'm a father, and given our current musical state, and I can never count on what may or may not be shown. So I didn't do either one of the halftime shows. What I can trust is dogs, and so we watched the dog challenge during that time.
Was that like the puppy something, the puppy show, or the Super Bowl puppy?
It wasn't quite the Puppy Bowl. They had some kind of like dog challenge. So we watched dogs like jump a long way into a pool and try to grab something.
I mean, I'm not, other than, I don't know how easily offended you are, Kevin. I mean, I understand the whole family aspect of this, but there was nothing on there that was like, right. Oh, wow, look at that outfit or something. I think you would have been fine, but I think you should go back and watch it.
Back to the Shakira and when Shakira and J-Lo were on there, I was like, maybe not. So
all right, I didn't know.
For the safety of the little ones. So
I think they probably would have recovered, but that's fine. Each their own. But I think you should go back and watch it.
I saw some of the stuff with the visuals and things like that.
They were like going to the bodegas and going by and going to the things, kind of walking through there. I thought some of that was interesting. I'll tell you what was awful was Drake May. I mean, what I thought would happen was, okay, I kept trying to go, could be the shoulder, could be the weather. You had that awful weather in Denver. You had the awful weather in New England when they played the Texans. Okay, he was fumbling. He was taking a bunch of sacks. He was throwing the ball. He was throwing interceptions. Like, it was kind of like, but I didn't want to just go because he'd had this unbelievable season, Drake May, and probably should have won the MVP. All right, Stafford won. Stafford was great this season. But, I mean, given Drake May the season that he had, I would have been fine with him winning the MVP. Wow. I mean, it's one thing if Mahomes has a bad Super Bowl, which he kind of did. I mean, the Eagles put him in lockdown because he's got the context of all those Super Bowl wins and all the great postseason play. This is all new to Drake May. And so now we're back to Drake maybe and Drake, all the jokes. Man, that was bad. And I mean, we're going to get to Seattle's defense and what all they did and how great Mike McDonald was, but that stinks. When you get to that point, you have that great of a season, and that's what you put on film. That's what you put out there for America. Because when we all gather around the Super Bowl, about 50 to 70% of the audience are just people that have never seen any of this stuff, right? They're like, oh, Patriots are in this thing? Okay. Oh, wait, Drake May, I think I heard about him. Yeah. Whoa. I mean, 6 sacks, holding on the ball too long, finally show up a little bit late, fourth quarter, and you just hurl one down the field, harem, scarum to nobody. you're briefly sort of in the game. It's 19-7, and you just kind of throw one up for grabs down the middle of the field. Now, who was that to? I don't know. Was Hollins running down there? Was Diggs? Was Hollins? I mean, Mac Hollins arrives at the game wearing handcuffs and a prison jumpsuit. Now I'm up for, whatever. I don't go around, Kevin, going, oh, they shouldn't have worn this outfit, or oh my gosh, I'm offended. But I don't know what that message was. I'm sure there was a message, and maybe I need to read it. Maybe I'll think, well, that makes more sense. But the guy arrives last game in the cold. He arrived barefoot, which for a receiver doesn't seem real smart to me when it's like 10 degrees out and you walk in barefoot. This time he's in a prison jumpsuit and he shows up in handcuffs. All right. We're making statements. Hollins made a couple of good plays late, but they couldn't get anybody open. Seattle's defense was awesome. I thought who was that? 21. Gonzalez was great, by the way, for the Patriots. I thought Christian Gonzalez showed up in a big way. I thought Kevin, the Seattle, though, I thought that corner Witherspoon. Here we go. With some highlights. Is that Gonzalez down there, Christian Gonzalez? I mean, he had some great plays. He made good plays. In Jigba, Jackson Smith in Jigba. I mean, you thought, well, if a non-quarterback's going to win the MVP, it'd be him. They put him in lockdown. They were great against JSN. I mean, they should have picked that ball off. But there's Gonzalez again. I mean, look at him. He's on the ball. Probably the worst throw. That was probably the worst throw for Darnold. Darnold played fine. Wasn't great. Was pretty good. And you know what he did great in the postseason? He had a really good game against the Rams. Kevin, sometimes it's about what you don't do. It's about not turning the ball over. He didn't fumble. He didn't throw an interception. 3 games, champions, crown him. Sam Darnold. And I like the jokes last night about the Jets finally drafting a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Good for the Jets. The Jets had him.
But what a class, right? That 2018 class with Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And here it is. No one, after 2 seasons, no one would have guessed the first Super Bowl winner out of those people would be Sam Darnold.
He did it. Now, it took some stops. It took some stops along the way. And the Vikings were like, he took 1 million sacks and turned it over in that playoff game last year the Vikings were in. He might have gotten sacked 9 times in that game, if memory serves correct. And in the game before that, he played poorly. And the Vikings were like, yeah, it's kind of what we thought. He had a really nice run this season, really good story. But it's time for the McCarthy era. And John Snyder and the Seahawks were like, yeah, well, we'll pay him pretty good money. But, when I say pretty good money, what is he making this year? Maybe half of what Dak makes. Dak makes $60 million a year. I bet they have Darnold on about about 30 million, 28, 30 million, something like that. It's still great money, but it's not like top level quarterback money in this league now, market wise. Darnold went out there and just got it done for him. It was not like a celebrity, like it did. Just kind of workmanlike, just a cool customer. He looked a little shaky to me early, and then they started kicking all those field goals. And a lot of times, Kev, when you see a team kicking a bunch of field goals, what do you say? Well, they're going to regret that. Oh, they're going to regret that. When it got 12-0, I thought it might as well have been 30-0 because the Drake May and that offense were doing nothing. Do you remember? Did they hand the ball off last night, Kevin? I think poor Ramondre and their other back. I honestly think they did not have one explosive run play. And we call an explosive run play 10 yards or more. They
Right.
did not have a single running play of over
Right.
10 yards.
Most of their stuff was off screen passes, right? Travion Henderson is incredible at that. You know, I thought maybe at some point Travion was going to have one of his moments, but came close, but didn't quite. But there was this catch. I got to give a shout out. This catch by Stevenson here late was pretty incredible.
I may have just been focused on whatever I was eating at this point.
I mean, there was a catch earlier that
it's a non-catch, right?
Right.
On a
it was
low
Cooper
ball.
Cooper Cup, and it did kind of the nose hit
the ground.
This did not. This right off the turf.
Kevin is the one. I like this, Kevin. You're the one commentator today saying nice things about the Patriots offense.
Well, there were two,
deep.
3 moments, but
Wow.
what I kept thinking was, why is Drake May not using his amazing double tight ends? Like, that, it didn't make any sense to me. Why? I know you get down late and you're trying to push the ball, but there was no thought of using good tight end scheme whatsoever. But
Sir,
you did mention
Gronk's not walking through that door.
No, but you got Hooper and Hunter, right? Hunter Henry. So it's like, that's a good tandem. But you did mention the kickers. Here's my question. How did the kicker not get the MVP?
Yeah, just short kicks. They were nothing. They weren't good kicks.
But he did it 5 times.
It doesn't matter.
He scored more points than anybody else on that field.
Has no. I love your thought process. I'm not shooting that down because I like your different sort of takes.
Well,
but
and
nobody in the world would have given that kicker the MVP because they were not. I mean, one thing if he was making like 50 yarders, those were nothing kicks that any kicker in the NFL could make. Now it's pressure of Super Bowl. I get all that, but my man Kenneth Murray.
Kenneth Walker
the third. Wow. Kenneth Murray plays for the Cowboys. I think he's a horrible linebacker. Kenneth Walker the third. Whoa, man. These were back-to-back runs that Kevin's showing right there. Kevin, that one. And then the next running play, he bounces this outside to the right. And that's kind of finally when I think that's when they broke New England's spirit, was on those 2 runs you just showed. That one's the second one, and they get it down there within striking distance. And at some point, they finally throw one to, is it Barner? Okay, is this that first? No, these are just a bunch of runs. Yeah, he ran for 135 yards. Kevin just showed the catch and run that he had. Man,
that last one, I mean, Chris Collinsworth kept bringing this up, how patient, right?
Yeah.
And, being a Colts fan, I understand what that's like. We got Jonathan Taylor, one of the most patient but explosive backs in the league. But there were some runs where Walker literally would just kind of like, I think Tirico even said, in slow motion, it looks like it was paused because he just took so long to make sure the block developed, and then he hit it.
And sometimes, especially you would think, against a really good defense like that, it's a little maddening when a back will kind of back up or not always go north and south like we always beg running backs to do. And so I'm sure Walker loses some yardage from time to time on that, but it allows him, because of his speed and vision that you're talking about, it allows him to break off and have a chance at some big runs. Now, by the way, at about 1:30, Clarence E. Hill from DLLS will be joining us. And man, he talked to Pickens, to Dak. He talked to everybody. We'll ask him about Darren Woodson. not getting in the Hall of Fame. Had a lot of interesting interviews while he was there at Radio Row, and he's just back from there, and he's a longtime buddy of mine, and we'll get his take on some of these things. And I one of the things that I may ask him about involves like Mike McDonald. I mean, the hope is Christian Parker, Cowboys' new DC, is the new Mike McDonald. Guess what he was doing in 2022? Probably for one of the first times in his career. He was calling plays for the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens. And, not too long, he becomes the head coach of the Seahawks. And he was the first. Kevin, this is interesting. Clarence is already ready to go. Kev, you want to do this, or do you want me to take a quick break, and then we'll get back to Clarence? You want to take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break.
All right, quick break here. Take care of our folks, and then we'll be ready for Clarence, who is already connected. The man from DLLS, long-time reporter, just got back from the Super Bowl. It is Clarence Hill next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be from a company, don't give them your personal information, ever. Unless you know them personally, hang up and call the company back on a verified number.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NordVPN.com. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kitbag.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It's Matt Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show, and fresh back from San Francisco, we want to welcome in from DLLS, All City, Dallas. Obviously, the Metroplex, everything going on, the Dallas Cowboys, the dean of local beat writers, Clarence E. Hill, joins us now. And Clarence, welcome back. Thought you did some really fine work there in San Francisco. I'm sure you're happy and pleased to be home. Thanks for being with us today, sir.
Man, how you doing, man? Yeah, people think our job, and I'm not complaining about our job, but they think that going to the Super Bowl and hanging out all week and working all week is the time of your life, and it can be. But every job has its version of hell, and the travel and the things that come along with that, and so it's nice to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, I can't say, and this is you're in a new role, so now you used to kind of swing through Radio Row, kind of while you were working on your stories and all, and now you kind of set up shop there, so it's a little different situation. But boy, I liked your interviews, man on the street type deal at the Pro Bowl. It looked like that access was pretty good there at the Pro Bowl. Was it a very relaxed type atmosphere, and the reporters were just kind of basically just the players were out there. You just kind of walk up, visit with whoever you want. What was that situation like?
They gave us from 10 to 10:15. They cut off at 10:10 to go out there. It was free for all for 15 minutes one day.
It was wonderful access.
Okay. They just don't be misled. It was we got 10 to 15 minutes one day. Then they blew horns. They get off the field and get out. Like, come on. You guys are playing flag football. Stop it. This is not a real game. Nothing you're doing is serious. Nothing about the Pro Bowl is serious.
Was Micah Parsons sort of excited to see you? I mean, I assume y'all had a pretty good relationship from covering him from his time in Dallas. Was he pleased to see you? I noticed you ask him about his relationship with Jerry Jones, or when was the last time they talked? How was Micah functioning?
Well, Jerry calls him Michael. Calls him Michael. Don't know his name. Call him Michael. I think Micah, he's like, first of all, injured players don't go to the Pro Bowl, right? Injured people that are injured don't even travel to California. Michael don't want to miss nothing. Mm-mm. He's at the Pro Bowl. He's hanging out with Dak, all the former Cowboys. Early had Packer teammates there. He was at Shannon Sharp's Super Bowl party with a crutch in his crutches. Of course, he did his, podcast from out there and had the Cowboys, a lot of players on. But yeah, we were good. But he kind of crashed the interview I was doing with Pickens. I mean, I wasn't necessarily, why don't you leave Micah alone? I wasn't trying to go get Micah. Micah came to me. I'm talking to Pickens, and Micah walks up into the interview. So I'm going if they give you a layup, I'm gonna take a layup. Okay, it was a layup, And so I started talking to Micah, and then I walked back over. And he turns. I said, "I know you want to talk, so let's talk." And so he did, and he opened up about, his disappointment with the process. He loves being in Green Bay and loves the money he got, but he has regrets about the process. He clearly loves Dallas. He grew up a Dallas fan, and the whole family's Cowboy fans. Whole family still lives here. His family still, even this year, his mom and dad went to several Cowboy games when he was in Green Bay. And so, yeah, this is he got paid, but he'd rather be in Dallas.
Now, was that Shannon Sharp party? Was that the best party you attended? Would you say, in terms of was that the most fun? I heard the media party was not great. It was getting some poor reviews, at least from one of our young friends, Nick Harris. It did not meet his whatever standard he would have. I don't think he's ever been to one. He might have been to one Super Bowl before now.
Well, yeah. He doesn't have history of going, but I was with Nick, and it was not a good media party. It was at the EA Sports or whatever it was, and it was just not. They had us eating out of their kitchen, basically. Up in the kitchen. I mean, it was.
I bet Shannon was happy to see you. You've been on his show over the years, especially when he was back at Fox. Was that a well-attended and fun party? Did you get there? Did you arrive fashionably late? How long did you stay at that one?
You got to bounce parties. I was at a couple of parties. I went to two parties that night, and I ended the night there. It was okay. It was not. I mean, I wouldn't say it was. It's one of the early parties during the week, and so it kind of the Super Bowl parties kind of build up. The best parties on the weekend, like Friday and Saturday, the day before the game. You have the big, the old school Sports Illustrated party used to be one of the best parties, the Mexican party, and all those parties they have on the weekend. But it was solid. I mean, the party I liked best was the NFL PA VIP party, which was cool. And I go for the food. I go for the drinks. Free food and free drinks. Okay, top shelf food, top shelf drinks. I don't care who's there.
I did like that Shaq one though that he hosted over like the Gucci mansion in South Beach that one time, and that was a pretty neat deal, as I recall. The George Pickens situation. I saw you comment on that. Did the Cowboys really need to release that the night before the Super Bowl or whenever that came out? I think we knew that was certainly a great possibility that they would put the tag, but I think your reaction, as I saw on Twitter, was kind of like sort of unnecessary. And I don't know if you were saying, I think you were saying that more about the Cowboys than you were about Schefter or anything like that. But what did you make of that? The Pickens decision.
Well, first of all, we all knew it was going to happen.
Correct.
It's not news, is it? Is it news? At this point, is that news? And I guess I'm getting jaded after all these years, but is it really news? And the Cowboys are going to franchise? Well, yeah, it's a placeholder. It's an administrative thing so they can keep them out the market, so they can exclusively negotiate. Because if they didn't do it, then he'd go to the highest bidder and he wouldn't be in Dallas. It's also an NFL mechanism to keep the money down because he's not opening and negotiating with the entire market. You only negotiate with one team that keeps the money down for sure. But why do we need that? We talked to Pickens. Pickens was all the rage all week. And it was Micah crashing my interview and Pickens saying, because Jerry says, because we got rid of Micah, we can sign these guys, right? We got money for Pickens. Whoop, pay Pickens.
Yeah.
He don't want the franchise tag. Give him that Micah money, okay? Then you got everybody at the Pro Bowl trying to recruit Pickens. And then you got CD saying, stay away from my guy. No one's leaving and Pickens can have more money than me. First of all, we already knew that the franchise tag was coming. There was no such thing as recruiting. The Cowboys were not going to let him hit the market, right? So all this stuff was just a bunch of drama that got headlines all week. And this is another thing. They got drama and headlines the day before the Super Bowl. Then on Super Bowl Sunday, Ian Rappaport comes out. I don't know if you saw that, but said the Cowboys, would be open to trading Pickens or picks because they have a history of trading their stars. Now tell me, what history do the Cowboys have of trading their stars for picks other than Herschel Walker and Micah Parsons? Yeah. Show me all the time between Herschel Walker and Micah Parsons that they've traded their stars for picks.
It's not what they do, but since they just did it, I think I guess you just go, oh, now they have a history. Jerry Jones has a history of that.
And they did it because things broke down, because it got personal, because they got their butter over that, but it's not something they want to do. I mean, the bottom line is this. You hope the picks turn out to be Parsons. You hope picks turn out to be Pickens. When you got it in-house, you don't have to play the game and guess and hope you hit it right, because more often you're not going to hit it right. But, so it's just more, as we all know, Cowboys drama, and whether it's generated by the Cowboys, whether it's generated by media to get engagement based on the Cowboys, it is what it is.
Well,
right?
But I know what you're saying, but see, you work for newspapers for years. You feel the need when that is put out there, even though you're like, well, we knew this was going to happen. But the editors are like, you got to now go confirm it, or you got to go, report this yourself that he's going to expect it to get franchise, even though you probably tell your editors like, hey man, this was always going to happen. So
you got to feed. I say you got to feed. It's the internet. It's not the paper. It's the internet now, and you got to feed the beast.
But I was talking to our former lives. Yeah, I was talking.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but the same thing. But you still have to do the same thing. So I know my guys at the Morning News had to write a story about it, and you have to do that. You have to feed the beast. And newspaper, the internet is taking over, and so you need those clicks, you need those engagements, you need people coming to you for the source of information. But yes, and that's what we have to do. So yeah, it's just it's like something. This could have waited 2 days. It didn't have to be reported on Saturday or Sunday. It could have waited until Monday. It wasn't like, it is what it was. But hey, it's the Cowboys.
Did you interview someone or meet someone during the week that you'd always wanted to talk to, or have you arrived now as a grizzled veteran where you're like, nah, I've met everybody I want to meet? Was there anybody that y'all got to interview or you sat down with that really stood out to you, that you either enjoyed the interview or you loved getting to meet somebody, even if it's just a non-athlete? Was there anything that stood out during the week of somebody you got to meet?
I'm primarily focused on Cowboys people, and so most interviews are already, I don't think there's anybody I've met that I hadn't seen before. It was interesting to see, different comedians and, different people that you run into on Radio Row, or they don't call it Radio Row anymore. They basically call it the media center, because it's not just radio. It's all the podcasters and content creators and everything else.
Yeah.
TV that come through there. But Sean Lee was doing media. I don't know if you remember Sean Lee with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He never did media when he was with the Cowboys, and used to come in like on Friday, like 10 minutes before the locker room closed, and he's in there doing media. It was just fun to deal. You mess with him about doing media. It's interesting how people evolve and things change when you're no longer in the game and you have to sell stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the different people. It's the Super Bowl. People just don't understand the people that want to be connected with the NFL. They come to the Super Bowls, and it's so different than any other event or sport.
What was the buzz when I'm sure you talk to people and you continue to hear about Christian Parker, and I guess the hope is that the Cowboys have discovered the next Mike McDonald. Now, again, you could say, well, this just needs to be the first Christian Parker, but this was a rare thing with a primary play caller on defense winning a Super Bowl. In fact, I know you could say Belichick, but I think sometimes we didn't know who was calling the defense, right? But this was a big deal for a young guy who was Christian Parker's age when he became defensive coordinator for the Ravens about 3 or 4 years ago. What is your take on Christian Parker, the hire, and now this staff that he's putting together? Interesting to hear Jerry go, well, obviously I was getting this wrong and we needed to go a different direction. And so
it's always very interesting that he was getting it wrong. What I like is the process. I don't know Christian Parker. I know everybody loves him, and he's a genius and a rising star, and everybody has raved about him, and the type of person he is. But I like the process. I go back to the press conference when they fired Matt Eberflus, and I asked Jerry. I said, Jerry, Clarence Hill, DLLS, Jerry, are you going to let Brian Schottenheimer hire his own defense coordinator? You hired Matt Eberflus. You said you hired Matt Eberflus. Jerry said, I'm like Trump. I run Venezuela. I mean, I do what I want. We're going to do the things the same way we've been doing it. All these, it's always been a collective thing. No, it wasn't collective. You hired Mike Zimmer. You hired Matt Eberflus. Okay? Lo and behold, as we get through this process, it was Shotty who was running point, bringing all these great coaches in to interview. You remember every coach that came in to interview got defense coordinator jobs, and everybody loves them. So I don't know anybody that doesn't like the guy they hired. And so the same thing we're hearing about Christian Parker, they're saying about Durante Jones and Jim Leonard and different. Everybody said great things about all of them, and they love their hire. I like the process because the process that he used to hire defense coordinator, the same process They got him Clayton Adams as the offense coordinator last year. Young, bright communicators, teachers. And you look at what Christian Parker's done, CP as they call him. CP, are you with me? Oh, yeah. CP is bringing in more young coordinators. You didn't like my rap there, huh?
I did like. I just had it took me a second to realize what you were doing.
But CP is bringing a lot of young guys, and we don't know what he is, right? He's never called a defense. He never called plays in the game, but everybody loves him. He's young. Here's a guy who was a quality control coach 7 years ago, and 7 years later is the defense coordinator. That is a meteoric rise through the coaching ranks that generally doesn't happen for black coaches. And everybody loves CP and what he's done. And so you have to trust the process was good, the process was clean, that you're going to get the result. And so I like the process. And everybody I talked to, former Eagles, media people who dealt with Christian Parker, they love CP and they have high hopes for CP and think he's going to be a home run hire. The problem here is, and I'm glad you brought up Mike McDonald. Yeah, they're going to be like Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald got dogs. He got players. He got a group of junkyard dogs in that defense led by former Cowboy DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Mm-hmm. CP needs players. And if the Cowboys don't go out and get him difference makers on every level, it won't make a difference. We'll be blaming him. He wasn't ready. He was young. He wasn't ready. We'll be throwing him out like we did Matt Eberflus and Mike Zimmer because they didn't have players. And listen, I remember when we know Matt Eberflus when he was a young up-and-coming coach, and everybody raved about the type of coach he can be. This is a success he could have. But if you don't give him players, if you take away your best player a week before the season opener, it's not going to help you. And as much as we like CP, as much as the Cowboys like CP and think he's going to be a great coach, they got to find a way to get him some players in free agency in the draft because that defense is devoid of players and playmakers.
Well, they got some high-paid and pretty good defensive tackles. The Seahawks appear to have gotten great defensive linemen, and one of those was that a Longhorn I saw out there. It was Murphy.
Minnesota, of course, the Longhorn. He was a first-round pick.
Murphy. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a chance to brag on him a little bit.
First-round pick, local kid, DFW kid.
Yeah, in fact, DeSoto and Southlake Carroll were featured on TV going into the game, which was pretty cool. So, but they built that thing pretty quickly with first and second round picks and then free agency. It leads to this: the Patriots built a really good team that made the Super Bowl, and I know Drake May did not play well at all, but they did it with what we used to make fun of teams like the Eagles when they did it in 2011. The dream team, they called it, and it didn't really work out. The Patriots spent huge in free agency, and they hit on tons of players, starting with the Eagles, Milton Williams, and others. This whole I'm willing to bust the budget, Jerry Jones, we used to see him do it. We used to see him spend big in free agency, and then we've gone through a period of time where that didn't happen a lot. Where do you think this thing is headed this offseason? Do you see any kind of big spending spree coming?
Yes, the Patriots were the number one spenders in free agency last year. Seattle was number 4.
Correct.
Okay, they didn't just do it by draft. They were number 4 in free agency spending. So both of these teams spent a lot. And the thing that should wake up the Cowboys is that neither one of those teams were in the playoffs last year. Seattle won. Both of them were outside the playoffs last year. The Patriots won 3 games last year or 4 games. They're in the Super Bowl the next year because it's about now. It's about winning now. It's not about building for the future and doing whatever. It's about pushing all your chips in and winning now. And will Jerry do that? He said it. He claims he's going to bust the budget. It starts with Pickens. They got to find a way to, keep Pickens in the fold, and they have him on the franchise tag. That's going to be immediately right there on the cap, $28 million right there that limits your ability to go get other guys. So it would behoove them. If you really plan on adding players, did you sign Pickens to lower his cap figure so you can really make moves in free agency? But yes, they have to make moves in free agency and the draft because they need several players to add a several influx of players, edge rushers, linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks, because you have a short window, right? Dak is in his mid-30s. It's crazy, and he just got here, and you signed to this contract. You're paying a guy $60 million. It's not about the future, it's about now. You're paying CD what you're paying him to win now. You're paying those 3 defensive tackles you have, Quinn and Williams, those guys, to win now, not 3 years from now. And if you keep George Pickens, it's about winning now. And so they have to do some things. Will they do it? I don't know. Is Jerry going to change? Is Steven going to change?
It's like you said, they seem to change their hiring process of a defensive coordinator. I don't think that's lasting change, but maybe that's but yeah, we've been around long enough to know that I don't think you can change that much. What Seattle did is they ran off the legendary head coach, and then within a couple of years they're winning a Super Bowl. That's not to say Pete Carroll was a bad coach because he's a Hall of Fame coach. Although can you get in the Hall of Fame now? It's tougher and tougher to do. By the way,
Pete Carroll's not getting in over Belichick, okay?
No, well, I don't know, man. They have it out for him, and as long as Polian and Tony Dungy and some of those Colts are hanging around, they're going to do their darndest to keep him out. Of course, Bill Polian couldn't remember how he voted. All right, so had some selective memory issues there. I've had that a couple of times in life. 34. The CD makes what 35 million a year.
34.
Pickens, where would it come in, do you think? Because it's one thing for CD to go, I'm fine with him to make more than me or whatever. It's always, then it happens and they're like, wait, what's happening here? What do you think market will dictate if they're to get something done? And to remind people on the tag, he would make somewhere in the neighborhood of like what 28 to 30, about 28 million a year. Is that right?
It's 28 million.
Okay.
So I mean, the market says 35 million
for George Pickens. Wouldn't it say more than that?
If he's on 30, free, if he's free, if he's free to go to the highest bidder, it could be 34 or more. And 30, certainly 30 more than 34 more than CD, because CD got paid 2 years ago. Not this year. So the market goes up. He got paid 2 years ago, and if he's the best receiver in the market, he could command up 35 or more. Is that what the Cowboys want to do? Is that what the Cowboys should do when they need to go after a pass rush? Maybe put that 35 million on Max Crosby.
They also have an issue at left tackle. What they got to decide, how to do that on offense. Everybody wants to act like they've got the greatest offense ever, and they actually have questions over there. But you and I both know they need to take a ton of people on defense, and we'll see how they build this thing. Did you on the Hall of Fame, what the Woodson thing? I hate it. Obviously we've known him for a long time, and he's a great guy, and he was an unbelievable player. But honestly, it's becoming harder and harder to get in, because even if he gets on that ballot as a older guy like Roger Craig, maybe they'll change the voting and maybe that'll help. But what's holding that back? Is it just this influx of younger players, and that's who's getting in? What do you? I mean, because obviously the credentials and everything you should need are there for Darren Woodson. What do you think's holding him out of this thing? Just the voters, I guess, is the simple way to answer that.
It frustrates me because who the GM with the 49ers? Used to be with Tampa. Lynch. Lynch can't hold Woodson's jockstrap. He's in, right?
Yeah.
Lynch can't hold Woodson's jockstrap. Let's be honest about that. Why is Lynch in? And you can't get Woodson in. There's a number of guys, who are in and Woodson's not in. You're talking about a 3-time Super Bowl champ. You're talking about, one of the, best players of his time. You're talking about the leading tackler in Cowboys history. You're talking about, people forget that those Super Bowl teams in the 90s, their defense was better than offense. I know the triplets got all the attention, but they have the number one defense in the league. And there's nobody on that team, homegrown defender, that's in the Hall of Fame. Dion was there for 1 year, and Dion didn't get in the Hall of Fame because of his, time with the Cowboys. I mean, one Super Bowl, I'm saying. Charles Haley's on there, but no one else. Somebody should represent. They keep trying to put all these damn Steelers in. They want to put all these 49ers in, and you don't put the Cowboys in. I think that Woodson certainly should represent the defense. I think Nate Newton should be there representing that offensive line. There's nobody on the Cowboys offensive line was the foundation of that offense and those teams. And nobody in the offensive line is begging to get in, not even in the Ring of Honor, which is crazy to me. But yeah, it blows my mind because Woodson's such a nice guy, and he didn't create waves, and he wasn't controversial, and people overlooked him. They overlooked him when he was a player, and they're overlooking him now, and he is a bona fide Hall of Famer.
You bring up a good point. Did the triplets, just because of who they were and their huge personalities, and did they kind of overshadow Woodson? And, it's like we all think Witten should eventually get in, but it would feel very weird for Witten to get in before Woodson. But again, they put the triplets in the Ring of Honor before a lot of the old guys. Part of that was because Jerry and Jimmy were a part of that. But and they put Woodson in the thought is you put a guy in a Ring of Honor, and that hopefully that helps his Hall of Fame case. And Woody's been in the Ring of Honor now for what, 8 years? I mean, it's been a good long while.
Started in the Ring of Honor because Everson Walsh should be in the Ring of Honor, Harvey Martin should be in the Ring of Honor, Ed Tuthall Jones should be in the Ring of Honor. Don't even get me started on that.
Well, yeah, and we don't even want to look at those numbers of some of the guys that are, because they don't really compare to the modern. But I mean, Everson's numbers are without dispute.
And Harvey Martin, without dispute, Harvey Martin still has his 23 sacks. What is the sack record? But they didn't count sacks back then.
I know, and sadly, Harvey's not around, and I'm afraid that doesn't, anyway, that's very frustrating. And then people would add others to your list. People would add Charlie Waters, but I agree with you. And they would try to poke holes in Tuthall by saying he stepped away to box for a while, but he was still massive, and again, they finally dealt with those guys from the 70s, didn't they? With Cliff and Rayfield and those guys, but they've got more work to do. Okay, you're just that horrible. That was not a fun game to watch unless you just love defense. Seattle was incredible. Your thought, did Drake May, golly, to have an incredible year and almost win the MVP, like how much of a hit did his reputation take, not only from how he played in that game, but just this whole postseason, to have such an unbelievable year? I mean, still a great young quarterback, but dang, he did not land it, did he?
The good news is a young quarterback, second year. He has plenty of opportunity. If he gets back there, we'll forget. We forgot that Ben Roethlisberger had a horrible first Super Bowl. Horrible. Of course, that team won because the defense won. But it happened. He has a chance to get back there. That left tackle, they've been murdering him. That Will Campbell guy, he's gonna have to see some sports psychology after the way he got murdered on Twitter yesterday. Of course, he gave up 14 pressures and 6 sacks or whatever he gave up, and everybody talks about his short arms going back to college, and he didn't play well. But it wasn't a fun game to watch. But I figured Seattle would win, and let's be honest, if you're watching the game, we all figured whoever won the NFC was going to win the Super Bowl, no matter what. Even going into the AFC Championship game, Rams or Seahawks were going to win the Super Bowl because the AFC has been down. It was down this year. Let's be honest, it was down this year, and The Patriots got there because they played a backup quarterback played against the backup quarterback in the championship game. You know, it wasn't like they weren't tested like Seattle was, who had to go through a strong division in the NFC West and what they had to deal with. So it was a bad game, but it wasn't not a surprising outcome because most people pick Seattle.
Maybe Jerry can take pride in getting players ready to win Super Bowls. DeMarcus Ware, DeMarcus Lawrence. Maybe Micah can go win one now for the Packers. You got to leave to go win one.
Green Bay's going to be tough next year. They get Tucker Kraft back and they get Micah back and they, somehow, find some more players on offense. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, we're never leaving the Jerry Micah conversation and those guys, because that's going to be right front and center. Of course, the Cowboys play in Green Bay next year, as well as playing in Rio. You going to Rio? You coming to Rio with me?
Meredith last night, and Meredith, I've brought her on a few trips before. Maybe you've scolded me a time or two, but you love my wife, and sure. I think that she's mentioned that, so we may be up for that. A trip to Rio. How would Jerry say it? De Janeiro. I don't know how he would say it, but yeah, and Jerry has a lot of car dealerships over there. Does that seem like a headache to you to go over there, or does that sound fun to you?
It's a long flight, so it's going to be a headache. But yeah, it's something we've never been before. I always, the beautiful thing about covering the Cowboys, and I've gotten to go places I never would have dreamed of going. And this little small town guy from Schulenburg, Texas, population 2,500, Central Texas, Schulenburg Shorthorns. Grew up with a class of 46 people. Never would have dreamed I'd be going to Tokyo or London or Rio, and every major city, everything across the United States for work, covering the Cowboys, covering something that I've been watching since I was a childhood, watching Brent Musburger say, "You're looking live," and looking at Tony Dorsett and Roger Staubach. So, again, as I started, every job has a versatile. Travel can have its issues, but I'm going to love going to Rio if I get to go.
Yeah, I've talked to DLLS. They are saving right now, so that you'll have a good trip over there. By the way, did that Muschamp hire at UT? Isn't it funny? They say you can't go home. Like 20 years later, here he comes. I don't know how long it's been, maybe 15, 17 years. Were you on the deal about, it didn't seem like defense was the big issue for UT. Obviously, early this season, it was the quarterback and the offense. Are you pleased with that move, or are you still kind of like a little bit, did you feel like that was a bit of a head scratcher to fire that Pete?
It was a head scratcher because the defense was pretty good and it was not the problem. But if he's better and they're going to get better, then there's nothing wrong with improving all areas and never get complacent. And maybe this is Sark, I've done a great job. We got top 10 teams and we made it to the playoffs, but that's not the goal. I want to get better. And if Muschamp makes him better, Coach Boom, as they say, he was supposed to be the coach in waiting years ago. He can come full circle and bring it home. That's great.
The coach in waiting rarely works, does it? It's not even Stoops. They had Lincoln Riley, and when they said that privately, Stoops, I think, said, they can have it right now. If y'all want to name a coach in waiting, I'm out. Mac didn't have any. He didn't want to leave that. He loved his job. He didn't really want to have a coach in waiting. Clarence, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. DLLS, you can subscribe. You can see all of Clarence's stories and videos. And then I know you'll have a ton of stuff in the off season. I appreciate you doing this, especially.
We're headed to the combine. We're going to have a whole team at the combine. So keep up with us.
Tell them to save a little bit for Rio, buddy. We don't want to blow it all out in Indianapolis.
All right, man.
All right. Clarence E. Hill. There he goes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Clarence Hill on the Matt Mosley Show. Always pleased to have him as he comes back to us from the Super Bowl. It's been fun. We had some friends, Kevin, that got to go to the Super Bowl in our company. I don't know. We have different companies. I've been assured we'll be there next year. Although, Kevin, you saw some of the activity on Radio Row. Do we really want to be? Maybe. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. But we've had a lot of people join us from the Super Bowl, and Clarence was there, very, very tired, if you couldn't tell. I thought he looked fine. I thought he brought great energy, but he just got back from there. So fun catching up with him. It is the Matt Mosley Show. We are going to do some campus confidential. We'll do it next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NordVPN.com.
It is the Matt Mosley Show. And, man, good to have Clarence on. Good to have all our people on from San Francisco throughout the week. And we have enjoyed that. And it's over. The season has ended at 2:30 today. We'll get back to how it happened, how the Cowboys, what they could do to look more like Seattle. How quickly can they build? Both these teams, as we just noted, New England spent the most in free agency. Seattle spent the fourth most, although Seattle spent a good deal of its money on Darnold, which was not massive, but still you pay him somewhere over $30 million a year, which still you pay Dak twice that to continue to come up short. Although, I don't think anybody would really blame this season too much on Dak, knowing how bad the defense was. Cowboys have tried to address that, and we'll see a young defensive coordinator and a young staff, how this will look. Some of it may be fun. Some of it's going to be learning on the job. Some of it may be, hey, why weren't they doing this a while back? Today, Patriots fans who, basically believe it's their birthright to win Super Bowls are licking their wounds. And they're wondering how their great MVP caliber quarterback who came a vote from away from winning the MVP just in the biggest game did not really show up. Yeah, they abused the offensive line. All right. And they threw a lot at him. They were blitzing like crazy in that first quarter. They certainly blitzed more than they normally do. They targeted Will Campbell over there at left tackle, and then the guy next to him, the left guard, the rookie. That was a bad day for the left side of the Patriots offensive line. I think they tried to help them. They needed to help them more. They obviously thought with what they were never going to be able to run the ball on this team because Seattle's too good of a run defense. The thought was, much like the Rams, they could make some plays in the passing game. It wasn't there. In the regular season, the schedule was a little bit easier, and May did a very nice job being surrounded by not that great a talent. He had Hollins, Diggs, as Hunter Henry had some decent talent around him at receiver, not great. Yet he still got the job done, put up big numbers. Let's just call it what it is. May's numbers from a turnover, from taking sacks, from throwing the ball, at the very end, it padded his numbers, but he had a really bad postseason. Still a great young quarterback. He'll have lots of years to overcome what just happened to him. And that we could be literally a year or two away from not even really talking about how bad this postseason was for him. But that's all we have right now. All right. And they let a pretty decent defensive performance. Yes, Kenneth Walker III was awesome, ran all over them, but they were playing great red zone D. It was 9-0 at halftime. It was 12-0. It took forever for Seattle to finally score a touchdown. And even then, Patriots finally scored and were semi in the game, driving down 19-7 with enough time left, with about 10 minutes to go. And Drake May drops back and just throws. I think at that point, maybe he had been hit so much that even when there wasn't the pass rush, he was trying to speed things up. And that horrible throw he made down the center of the field, to which Collinsworth, calling the game, said, I don't have anything. I think he said something along the lines of, I don't have anything for you on that one. It was like first down. It was not desperation. They had a chance to get down there and make the game. And then later on, I don't know what was happening, because honestly, when they got it to 19-6, and I had this conversation at my Super Bowl party, I said, well, I don't get why they didn't go for two there. Because then if you go for two, then you're a touchdown and a field goal, a potential touchdown and two, and a field goal from tying the game. Like, it didn't make sense to make the game 19-7. It wasn't going to hurt you to be at 19-6 if you didn't get the two. Like, I know people are like, man, it didn't really matter. Okay, that's fine. But you still got to give your team the best chance. And I don't know if Vrabel, where his mind was, but, you got every chart in America. But even some old sports writer like myself is sitting there going, and I felt good about this, Kevin, because today, as I kind of was reading everything, they're like bringing up what I was bringing up at the table last night. What are you doing? Go for two.
I said the same thing. Go for two. Why? Why not? What are we doing?
What do you accomplish by getting it to 19-7? Nothing. Because the best you can do is get it to 19-15 after that.
Right. The math says go for 2 because then you can do it again, touchdown 2, and then you can tie it on a field goal.
And at one point, they're down. They had a 4th and 1 right at midfield. And I'm thinking, you guys have been horrific on offense. And I would say every chart in the world is go for it, go for it, go for it. And he punts it. He punts it from midfield. They're down. I don't know if it was 6-0 or 9-0. It could have been 12-0. I don't know. But they're at midfield, 4th and 1. And here goes our man Vrabel. Goodness. Do you have that little faith in your run game? Oh, yeah, you do, right? I mean, the only thing I ever saw that I can remember from Ramondre or Travion, Kev, was a leap. You know, like they threw a little pass out in the flat to, I think it was that Travion or Ramondre? One of them.
It was Ramondre.
Ramondre did the whole leap over on the sideline. He got a first down on the play. But they didn't feel confident enough to go for it on 4th and 1 at midfield in a game where even getting to midfield seemed like some kind of big accomplishment. Now, Kevin has been, I mean, a lot of times we come, and thank you, by the way, our group out there for commenting. We see your comments on our YouTube page. Go sign up for YouTube. God, I can't wait. Boy, tomorrow, by the way, is going to be incredible. Kevin, on the show, we've got the tremendous TCU basketball coach that has turned that program. That program was out in the wilderness for years. Mark Campbell is going to be with us. And then we're going to have Nikki Collin on tomorrow from Baylor. Those teams play each other on Thursday, and that could be for the Big 12 title. Now, because they'll have the tournament and all that, and we'll see what happens. But as far as the regular season is concerned, here they both are. Both have 2 losses. Both sitting there at about, 7-2, something like that, 8-2. And Kevin has some kind of old, he and Mark Campbell's paths crossed many, many years ago in Eugene, Oregon. So very, very cool to have both the TCU women's and Nikki Collin on, and it'll just be like a week late that girls and women's sports national day for girls and women's sports. All right, that we'll just do that tomorrow, so that'll be great. We'll enjoy doing that. Thank you, Central National Bank, by the way. Thank you for what you do, CNB. My gosh, I can't wait. There you are up there. I cannot wait for these new commercials. In fact, I was just asking, Kevin, about that. Wow, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. CNB. We love them, and we love talking about them, and we appreciate, in fact, they have a great relationship and are the primary sponsors for Baylor women's basketball. And then they are our primary sponsor over here on the Mosley Show as we continue on today. We do have some Campus Confidential coming up. I'll tell you what, let's do it now, Kev. I like it. You're so Johnny on the spot today with all your twisting and tweaking. We'll finish out the show today with some more Super Bowl. And I do want to, I'll talk a little bit more about Bad Bunny. Thought Bad Bunny put on a pretty good show. I'm not going to be one of these guys like, I didn't understand anything. He said, I don't know Spanish. Sing those songs in English. Man, if you entertain me, and if I find your dancing and choreography entertaining, don't really care what the language is. All right. I mean, maybe we could have had some subtitles up there, but I was fine either way. But that white jacket, I mean, that's something I'm thinking about. I'm thinking kind of some people have referred to me as the Bad Bunny of YouTube shows. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's youthful sunglasses. I don't know what it is, but I have been referred to as the bad boy of YouTube. I don't know if anybody's actually said that, but we appreciate everybody on here today. And yes, I did watch Baylor. And Kev, if you want to ask me anything about the Bears in Iowa State, I got to watch that. I was very pleased at the Bears' efforts. And I mean, big time improvement being shown. I don't think they're going to the tournament, but I'm glad to see them be somewhat competitive, at least for about 30 minutes. The end of it was a desperation. I'm not going to get too far into that. The final score looked like the Bears were in it the whole way. They kind of lost touch in that game for about 8 minutes, and then in about the last minute and a half, they put on a show and kind of made it interesting. And then they wouldn't foul. Guys, like, if you're going to make a comeback, go ahead and foul when you need to. I know that was frustrating, Scott. There are things that infuriate me about this team. There are things I find interesting and I enjoy about this team. Could they take down BYU tomorrow? I'm going to come down and find out. I'm going to drive down to Waco, and I'll be in attendance, and I'm going to sit up there with the fans. All right, I'm not going to be over there with the media like I normally am. I'm going to sit right there. My daughter's coming in to meet me, and we're going to have a great time watching Baylor basketball as the Bears take on the Brigham Young Cougs. They got beat again, Kev. They got beat again. They're 5-5 in the conference. My gosh, they're struggling, these Cougs, these LDS Cougs. All right, Kevin, what do you have for us in Campus Confidential? I basically went ahead and started it there without you.
I don't need to ask you about Baylor at all. There you go.
You can ask me anything. I do have more to share on that front. But right. Anything you had planned, now is the time. Campus Confidential.
Well, the first question is, where do you stand on storming the court after the incidents in Chapel Hill and costing St. Bonaventure the win over VCU?
I don't think a court storm should ever cost you a win. I mean, that really stinks, and that's baffling. And I know people say, well, that's the rules. That's the whatever. That's what they do. If you do that, it's a technical whatever. But that's not really in my wheelhouse, is what's happening between St. Bonaventure and somebody. I did watch the Carolina Duke game, and usually I'm like, golly, we hype this and hype it. I know it's a great rivalry, but oh my gosh, do we have to spend our whole day talking about UNC? And I watched a lot of it, and I thought, Duke's a better team. They were better even late, about 4 or 5 minutes left. They're up by about 9, 10. I just thought Duke was the better team the whole game. And then UNC had this hellacious, unbelievable comeback. And I loved it. I loved seeing Trimble hit that shot in the corner, and he gave it to Steph. Bye-bye. Good night. He did the good night celebration. And usually I would think it's beneath a great program like UNC to storm the court. This is your greatest rival. I mean, you'd like to think you're not so shocked that you stormed the court, but it was a big moment. But they determined that that 0.4 was left, and they had to clear the whole court and all of that. And I'm glad they did not call a deal. And then this always seems to happen. Then we got the Duke coach saying somebody on his staff got punched in the face. Now, I did see somebody, I believe from UNC, on the floor throw a water bottle Now, that's dumb. And if they can determine who that is, they should not be. And if they had to hurt somebody, I mean, yeah, arrest them. But they should not be allowed to come back to a Carolina game the rest of the season. Okay? I hated that. I don't think the answer to this, because the answer a lot of people have usually is outlaw court storming. They're still fun. It's still an exciting deal. That's not, I don't think, the answer. Now, if you make an accusation, somebody threw a punch at one of my staffers, I haven't really heard any evidence of that. I don't think we've seen any video evidence of that, and I don't think they've proven that. So we got to be a little careful sometimes, because in the heat of the moment, coaches, and I've seen this happen in the Baylor-TCU rivalry, so-and-so did this to me. So-and-so hit one of our people. And then you go look and you go, I don't know if that really happened. So I would say Shire probably, he may have heard that happened, but I don't know if he had his facts straight. So all that to say, Kev, I think you got to try to have better security, and you have to take care of the opposing team. Well, both teams really, but with the opposing team, because some of these kids have been overserved, and if they get too close a proximity to the opposing coaches, yeah, it can be a bad deal. I saw another thing after the game the other night. Florida went to A&M, Kev, and they just crushed the Aggies, all right? And then after the game, some assistant coach from Florida is screaming at A&M, and I feel like the coach at Florida may have hollered at an Aggies player. Maybe it was Rylan Griffin. I mean, you got to be above that if you're a coach. These coaches are at least, a lot of them 35, 40 years older or older. And you're going to holler and cuss and scream at these 18, 19-year-old players? Man, grow up. I thought Florida played great, but I thought Florida really showed its rear at the end of that game. All right, Kev, what else do we have, sir? And by the way, Kev, I'm always interested in what you have to say, even though I don't always show it. Kev, would you outlaw court storming based on these situations?
I think that it is a relic of the past at this point, and it kind of should be outlawed now that there is NIL and all this. You know, there's just too much money in it. You don't see it in professional sports. And let's be honest, that's where we're at with college sports right now, high level. So you kind of have to put an end to it. I get it. There's more passion and emotion at that level because of the age of those fans and on the university and the campus and the camaraderie. I get it. But I don't think it has a place anymore unless you're going to change something about the other side of it. There's too much money at stake and involved on the floor in danger at that point.
Oh, that's interesting. To me, it doesn't have anything to do with money. Like, it's safety issue. So that's an interesting thought.
I think it's a safety, and because of that, the money. But, you know, it's like anything. You want to know the issue, follow the money.
Kevin Hall, ladies and gentlemen, worried about the liability for these universities and these
My
players.
dad is an insurance underwriter. We'll go figure.
That's right. All right, what else do you have?
All right, so what are conferences anymore with UTEP and North Dakota State and Northern Illinois now a part of the Mountain West in football?
I'm sorry. The question is, what are conferences?
Right.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, what do they even mean anymore? We have this struggle with the Big Ten and everything because the Big Ten turned into the entire country, and there's like this whole West Coast wing, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think sadly, what we used to love was the regionality, and it's been trumped by the money and by the TV, and needing to put some of those Big Ten schools at places, needing to accommodate obviously some of those old Pac-12 schools in the ACC, and then the dregs of the old Pac-12 end up with the and I guess the newly formed Pac-12. I agree it's a mess, but like North Dakota State deserves, if they're going to pony up and pay all the money to play Division I football, FBS level football, then you got to give them a home, or I guess you could make them be an independent. But so I mean, they'll be kind of like James Madison. I bet they'll be good. I bet they'll be good in a hurry because they have the resources, they have the coaching, they've recruited extremely well, and they've got the history. So it will not take them that long to get up to speed. So I don't know. I guess it's weird, but I guess I don't really think about the Mountain West all that much. And I feel like they have to have a home. So it's good. I mean, the Mountain West, they get a really nice brand. I mean, like the question I would be asking was like, not what conferences are anymore. It's like, why didn't the Pac-12 take North Dakota in football? Like, why? I mean, North Dakota State. Wait, which one is this? Is this North Dakota State or North Dakota? Which one is the green and gold one?
Yep, North Dakota.
This is North Dakota.
Yep, South Dakota's blue and yellow.
Yeah, but the really good North Dakota one is just North Dakota. It's not North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. Yep.
Okay. North Dakota State. If I were the Pac-12, and I know it seems crazy, but everything seems crazy now with USC and UCLA in the Big Ten, I would have made a play for North Dakota State. They're a good brand. They play a great brand of football. They produce NFL players. We've seen 2 or 3 NFL quarterbacks out of there in the last 10 years. Lance comes to mind. Wentz comes to mind. Obviously, they didn't turn out great, but they certainly went high in the draft. One of them went. Did Wentz go first or second overall? One went early in the first. One went third overall, Trey Lance, or top 5. Unbelievable. All right, Kev, what else do you have? These are all good. These are all good topics. I like all this. What else do you have for me? Like, what's happening today? Or whatever.
We'll get to today, but one close to my heart. I want your take, your thought process. I don't want to debate unless you want me to. Was it a foul at the end of the IU-Wisconsin game?
Oh, yeah. I did see a lot of
there were
guard.
Two. There were two. There was the offensive foul called on Wisconsin, and then there was the defensive foul called on Wisconsin that resulted in the tying and the winning free throw.
Can't really debate you because while I did track guards' comments and how mad he was and all that, and I thought that was all interesting, I did not care enough to go back, and this tells you where I am with the Big Ten. I don't get into the Big Ten until we get into the tournament. So you tell me, were they outrageously bad calls, or was it really bang bang?
So my thought process actually goes back to the end of regulation, where there were several questionable calls that allowed Wisconsin to, because IU was up by 10 under 6 minutes left. There were several questionable calls that allowed Wisconsin to get back into the game at the end of regulation. I thought the offensive foul, you could really see it either way. Was Connor Enright in the space of, I think it was, I forget the Wisconsin player. Was he in a space? Maybe, but there was definitely a chicken wing after the fact. I think the real question is the last one. The problem was there was Lamar Wilkerson, the IU player, had just done the exact same drive several minutes earlier, and it was called a foul on a different defender. You got to expect it. He goes down there, he does it behind the back. There was a clear reach in. I think the biggest issue is it looked like Lamar Wilkerson stumbled, but if you go back and look, it was actually his ankle was stepped on by the defender. So
I would say that without seeing these things, knowing where your heart lies in these arguments, you are not an unbiased observer in this situation. But I may take a peek, but I was watching too much other basketball the other day. What else do you have for me?
All right, then. Women's basketball, UCLA held off Michigan from making a comeback in the game. Where do you think the cutoff is between the upper echelon teams in women's basketball and everybody else?
Oh, I would say that, I would put the separation at about 7 or 8. And I would say everything after that, you do have a pretty big drop off. I was trying to watch the other night. I was watching some of University of Texas and LSU, and LSU it was a great game. And then fourth quarter, LSU just couldn't score.
Yep.
And Texas is really good on offense. Vic doesn't think they're a great defensive team, yet LSU could not score on them. So I would say LSU's probably like in that 6 to 8 range in the country, and wherever they are, I would say there's a fall off after that. And then you just got your monsters at the top. UConn's back to being UConn, and South Carolina beat somebody by 43, and their coach was calling them out and acting like they gave up and didn't try. I think that was Tennessee, right? The Vols.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. UConn this time of year just crushes people because nobody's good in their conference beside them. So when they get to see a decent team, they'll just go crazy on them. And they were ready to see a team that was somewhat competitive, and Gino and UConn ran them out of the building. I think what will happen is UConn will win it all this year, and then Gino will retire finally. I think he'll finally be done. His reign of being great for about 25 years now. That's it's the greatest sustained run in the history of college sports, really.
Yeah.
I just can't think of anything. I mean, sure, like there's some wrestling and, like Oklahoma's been unbelievable in softball for about 5 to 10 years or something. But like that, I don't know if anybody can compare to what they've done at UConn over the years. Just stayed great for all those years. All right, what else do you have?
Pat Summitt.
Not as long as Louisiana Tech used to be awesome. Baylor was incredible for a long period of time, but I just don't. UConn's level of winning national titles. I forget what the number is, but I would say in a 25-year period, they've probably won 13 or 14, maybe more, 16. Right. It's nobody's close.
Then the last one is about the night that Arizona gets their first loss when they visit Fog Allen.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait for this. And I think the biggest question will be, does Peterson play the whole game? And I'm not trying to be funny. I think he has shown that, and by the way, even when he plays, he can go through stretches where he struggles. This is going to be a great, great test. This is good. This is so much fun because the building is going to be wild, and it's unlike anything Arizona will really experience in this conference. Even BYU, any other place you want to mention. Tech's a great, great atmosphere. Really is. but nothing compares to the fog. So I think this is where it ends. I think Kansas is good enough. Now, obviously, both have great coaches, but this is one of those rare. In fact, this has the potential to be the best regular season game of the year. Okay? I really think that's the case. So this will be fun. This will be fun. I do not think, I still think that Tech is better than Kansas. I don't know. That's close right now. I do think Houston is better than Kansas. So right now, my power rankings would be Arizona, University of Houston. Oh, man. God, the way Kansas is playing right now is pretty dang impressive. I'm going to say KU and then Tech. All right, those are top four. And our friends, the Mormons, I don't know what's going on. It's a difficult thing to explain, but even with DeBonsa and Rob Wright the third and the whole bunch, it's a good Cada and the guard's awesome. What's the guy's? Not Dallin didn't play there anymore. Anyway, they're really should be good, and they're now 5-5 in conference.
So BYU is either coming in limping or looking for some blood atonement.
Man, I would say this is the absolute worst scenario for Baylor. Because yes, they are limping, but yes, they are crazy talented. Bears are going to need a big response from their fans, and that's why father and daughter Mosley, we will be there. We will be there to support the Bears. All right, Kev, let's finish with some major Super Bowl talk. What must the Cowboys do to just even be even close to what Seattle has built? That is next.
Save big during the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Drive a new Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with $13,000 off, or choose 0% financing. Get a new Laramie Crew Cab 4-wheel drive with 3.9% financing for 72 months, plus $15,000 off MSRP. Explore in a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, starting at $31,990. Happening now at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that,
and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
It is the Mosley Show, and man, it's and Kevin, I tell you, I don't want to short you. You have really been. You wanted to mention the Seattle punter, the long history of punters from this country. You're gonna talk about. I do think it was, and I got to talk more. We got to talk about Drake May and what was just a miserable performance. I just can't even. I cannot fathom how bad this was, and just how frazzled he looked, and how this again, he can recover from this, but this was one of the worst quarterback performances in Super Bowl history. I think Kerry Collins had a rough one when he was with the Giants, and then there's somebody else that comes to mind. You're seeing it right there. No ball security, no trust in his O-line. I get it. Will Campbell out there at left tackle was a turnstile. Left guard couldn't block anybody. I mean, I if I'm the Cowboys, I'm studying everything in the world Seattle did along their defensive line. How did they build it? Where did these guys come from? They got second rounders. They got first rounders. Their secondary was awesome. Their safeties are awesome. Julian Love had that big that kind of sealed the game with that interception back there that Drake May just said, here you go, man. I'm just kind of, it's 19-7. We got a little chance here, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of sell one down the middle of the field. Kev, it opens up the question. And Drake almost needs this to be the case. He was so bad, it begs the question, was he hurt? Now, he was listed. He had some kind of shoulder injury, and we learned at some point during the game or before the game that he did get an injection. He got something. He got injection, cortisol, whatever you put in that cortisol. Yeah, whatever. He got some form of injection for the shoulder. Maybe they missed the nerve. I don't know. I mean, I think what we'll find out, and this will probably be a smart thing for the Patriots to do for their quarterback psyche and his ego moving forward, is there will be something about he was playing hurt the final 4 games of the season, the final whatever it was. That is what will happen. And if that somehow helps his psyche, because it's hard to come up with any other. I mean, he was 73%. He was one of the most accurate passers in the history of the NFL in the regular season. And he did not even have that great of a wide receiver core. You got Mac Hollins out there running around. Mac Hollins is known for more about the outfits that he wears to games. And, I mean, it's like this guy, there were plays to be made. I thought Drake May, even looking at his form in that game, I was like, what is he doing? Maybe there was an injury, because it was like even just normal intermediate type throws, it just wasn't there. It was behind his guy. It was too far. It was when something actually looked like they might hit, like a player breaking free down the field, he would, again, it was awful. It was. I think he had a great year, and I would have been just fine with him winning MVP. He was awful the entire postseason.
Sam Darnold sailed. He overthrew Rashid Shaheed twice. You know how hard it is to overthrow Rashid Shaheed? Had him wide open.
I thought one of those times it was JSN, but I know what you're talking about. He bought time, stepped up in the pocket, and then overshot him. But again, at least that was under duress. I thought Darnold was so much better than Drake May in that game. And at least he had, first of all, they understood the assignment. Why don't we run this ball? This Kenneth Walker III has been pretty dang good. Let's keep feeding him the ball. And man, he wins the MVP. There it is, Kevin. Good timing. That's that left side. I thought that was a big play because the Patriots been playing really well against the pass. Christian Gonzalez there's number 0, was knocking down everything, and Walker III blew open that game. There's a great play he made in the passing game, and he had back-to-back runs where he had somewhere in the neighborhood on both those plays a combined like probably 40 yards, for about 45 to 50 yards on those two plays. He runs for 135 in that game. New England did not have a running play that even got close to that. I mean, and I don't think they had no confidence in their O-line. I think they thought they might be able to throw downfield a little bit like they did against the Rams. And the pass rush was way too much. 6 sacks. You name it, man. I wish I could name the entire defensive front. DeMarcus Lawrence, Leonard Williams. They were running Witherspoon, their cornerback, who's a really good cornerback. They were using him against the run. They were using him. They were blitzing him. He came in, had a sack early. He was awesome in that game. Witherspoon, look at that. Look at that. I mean, there they are. I can't even tell what the score was at this point. Was that the one that made it like 29? I think it was 22-7. They're moving it past half midfield with about 5 to go.
That was pretty. I was 22-7, maybe 29-7. It was pretty much over at that point. That was kind of the nail in the coffin. But
it was over when it was 12 to nothing.
Witherspoon.
The game was over when it was 3-0.
It's true.
I mean, it
I think part of this is what the NFL is set up to do. That you have a bad record, you get a good draft pick, and then you get an easy schedule. Let's be honest. The Patriots schedule was easy this season.
We can't control like if the AFC East is good or not. I guess it's usually bad, but they've been beating up on that division ever since Tom Brady showed up. I mean, this thing's gone on for about 25 years now.
And so if in that case,
they get to play against the Dolphins, they get to play against the Jets. Yeah.
You get an easy schedule, change in coach, change of culture, a little bit of oomph put behind you, then you can end up in the Super Bowl, and then you can have a terrible Super Bowl like we saw. Is this
and
really
then you get
what
to play against a backup quarterback in horrible weather, and they can't function, and you get there. And you play against another horrible quarterback with C.J. Stroud of the Texans who can't function and turned it over like 5 times. Think about the luck they had. Stroud. Now, again, that said, who caused a lot of that mess? Well, they did. New England did. And Milton Williams is a great player. Spillane's a heck of a player. Chason was really good. Before he got hurt, Harold Landry III did some very nice things. That was a really good. I'm not going to buy into this thing of like a bad team can get to the Super Bowl, but a team can get hot and get to the Super Bowl, or a team can take advantage of a favorable schedule and all of that. But it really does stink for a quarterback to play his rear off for a whole season. 73%. The big turnover prone guy that you worried about in this was Darnold. It was not May. It was Darnold. His turnover rate this season was not great. Turned the ball over too much. Did ball security, interceptions, but man, stepped up, played great against the Rams in a high-scoring affair. He was certainly the MVP of that. And then in the Super Bowl, he just did what he needed to do. Don't turn it over. Take off and run occasionally if you need to. I mean, those were good. Everything he did was perfect because your defense is playing brilliantly. They're knocking down all those passes. They're getting to the quarterback. They're pressuring like crazy. I mean, did you see what, like on plays when he was pressured? May completed, I think, 2 passes for 30 yards or something. Like, it's crazy. Some quarterbacks are really good against the blitz or even when they're pressured. They're okay. They can burn you. He was spectacularly bad.
Most of those weren't even blitzes. They were 4-man pressures most of the night. It was only a slim number that they actually sent extra pressure. Most of those pressures and sacks happened on 4-man fronts.
What'd they do? They saw it. They said, well, this Will Campbell guy sure seems like a problem. This rookie over here at left guard, he seems like a problem. Why don't we...
He's built like a T-Rex.
Why don't we... Yeah, Mr. Short Arm left tackle. I think they're already talking about moving him to guard next year. And he may end up having a great career. Who knows? Two rookies starting at left tackle, left guard. Watching May, the way he played, and watching that awful, how badly the left side of the offensive line played, left you wondering, and watch how poorly they ran. You're just like, how in the world did they get here? But we should not, that should not take away from Seattle's greatness. Seattle, tremendous all year. And the only time, I mean, like, somebody was trying to talk to Kyle Shanahan about, like, how do you tell us how to beat Seattle? And he's like, wait, did you not watch us play against them? Like, I hadn't scored on them. Well, I don't think he scored a touchdown the last 2 times we played. You know, he had a great line. He's like, we didn't do anything against them. They're that good. It just turns out the Rams offense is that good. Rams offense is really, really good. I mean, there's a reason Stafford won the MVP. But that was about the only team that this season that, I mean, even their loss, I mean, like, Seattle, nobody ever ran away from them the entire season. Even their losses were extremely tight.
Phillip Rivers came off the couch after 5 years and played that defense better than May did.
It was bad. You're right. You're totally right. And, you know, the good news for May is that he's got like 10 to 15 years to make up for this. He's 21 or 22 years old. Old Drake May, and now it's not automatic you get back. I think when Burrow made it to that Super Bowl and you're like, oh my gosh, the Bengals are here. You're like, he's so great and the receivers are so great. He'll be back. They hadn't even sniffed anything since then. All right. He's had some injuries and that kind of thing, but they hadn't sniffed it. Herbert right now does not look like a guy close to the Super Bowl. So you never know for sure if you're going to be back. The thing we know is that the Patriots have a really good head coach, and they know what they're doing. They just came off an incredible free agency. They built a great defense. Let's not act like they didn't. That defense was so good in the red zone in that game. It took forever for them to finally score a touchdown. It was 12-0 late in the third quarter, wasn't it? When did they finally make it 19-0? Was that late third quarter, early in the fourth quarter? It took them forever. Patriots played fine. Spillane, all of them. The Patriots defense played fine. It was not a poor. Now, they weren't great against Walker the third. Kev, look at Walker the third, by the way. I mean, like, the last, 5 or 6 games, it's like, I think the last 6 games, let's call it, 560 yards, 6 touchdowns, just awesome. Awesome. Kev, guess what he's about to experience? Free agency. Kenneth Walker the third. You say, well, Matt, your running backs aren't as big a deal anymore. Okay. All right. Well, I just saw the Super Bowl MVP was a running back. First time in about 3 decades. Last time a running back. I mean, you got to go back. You got to go back a good long ways. I mean, back when, who was running back for that? Who was the running back, Kev, for that Indianapolis team that beat Chicago in the Super Bowl? 2007, 2006 season.
Yeah, that was a double whammy of Joseph Adai and Dominic Rhodes.
I knew, right as you said, Joseph Adai. Yep. Dominic Rhodes climbed into my
The only reason Peyton Manning got that MVP is honestly because they couldn't give it to the entire offensive line, which is who really won that game.
Yeah, and they had the Colts had. I remember interviewing a guy who ended up becoming a broadcaster. I want to say Rocky Boyman was on that team, kind of a decent special team, like the special teams captain or something. I think Rocky Boyman was still playing for them. That was post, because it was like when we were in the late 90s, somewhere in there is when Edgerrin showed up, right? Or was it early 2000s? And Edgerrin was just, for a few years, Edgerrin was unbelievable. His rookie season would have been
he was drafted 99. He was drafted
99.
98 was Manning, and then 99 was Edge, right?
It's kind of a bummer that he didn't get to play on that Super Bowl team because he was awesome. Edgerrin James, goodness gracious. He's kind of like Terrell Davis, just weren't great for a long time, but Edge for about 5 seasons. Whoa. He was awesome. His rookie season, he hit the ground running. And that, I don't know, to me, I remember his rookie season over almost everything he did. He was great. Kevin, real quick, brag on the unsung hero for the Seattle. By the way, this is the Landing. Thank you. Thank you, Brazos Landing. Kevin's like, Mosley never gave me a chance. I had not forgotten, Kevin. I have a weird memory. It's not a bad memory. It's just a weird memory. The unsung hero for the Seattle Seahawks was who?
Well, you brought up special teams. Obviously, the kicker scored. It was Jason Myers scored more points in a single season, including the playoffs, than ever before, surpassing LaDainian Tomlinson. But let's be honest. When you stop a team as much as the Seahawks did on defense, you're going to get into a defensive battle, field position, and the punter did amazing. Check out this. This was not the last punt, but this is maybe one of the best ones.
From
getting
his own,
it all the way down
or something.
And what a terrible decision.
Oh, how
to let
can
it
you
go.
not catch that? Who was that?
And boom.
Oh,
there.
Who was that?
And then the
horrible.
I don't have a video, but the last punt that he did where they brought an all-out try to block blitz, and he had to get it out quick, and he line drived it, no hang time because nobody was back, but he managed to get it positioned to go out of bounds at like the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
I mean, special teams.
Did you say he was an Aussie, this guy?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
The Aussies are kind of taking over the punter position. That's Michael Dickinson from Seattle. Now,
Dixon.
the Colts have the, maybe not the best punter of all time, but certainly the most entertaining. So, we value that.
Oh, yeah. Michael Dixon. I remember he's 30 years old, University of Texas. But then there's another. Who's the guy? Dicker the kicker. Didn't he come out of UT as well? There's Dicker the kicker.
I think so. Yeah.
But this Dixon guy is awesome. That started the Australian movement. Started with Darren Bennett back in the day for the Chargers. All right. That's the show for today. The Super Bowl show on a Monday. Tomorrow's going to be awesome. We got the Baylor women's coach, number 12 in the country. TCU coach, number 17 in the country. I mean, if you like women's basketball, it's like there's no show in the country that's going to offer more. And we'll have a good time with that visit. As I'm fascinated with this guy. This guy has an interesting story. This Mark Campbell of I've always thought he's a little bit cocky, but you need some of that. You need a little bit of that when you kind of come from a humble background. You need a little something to you, and this guy does have something to him. And they've got a streak going with the Bears right now, and the Bears desperately need to end that on Thursday evening. It's TCU and Baylor getting it on, and we'll have both coaches on tomorrow. Kevin, good work today. Appreciate you, buddy. For the Mosley Show and for Kevin Hoosier Hall in Brazos Landing and CNB, Central National Bank, Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James, and the great folks at Schmaltz's, it's the Mosley Show. We're out.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Don't buy from social media ads unless the ad is from a verified company. When you click those ads, you open yourself up to fraud. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone
I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.